Your crate will look like this when you receive it. It will weigh about 940 pounds in the crate, so you will need a forklift, a front loader with forks, or a delivery truck with a lift gate to unload it at your location. You can assemble the unit outside, but on a smooth, level floor indoors is easier. If outside, putting down a tarp makes finding dropped hardware easier. If you have a forklift or a loader that you can lift the heavier assemblies out, use that with a lift strap. If no lift is available, then cut the crate open, removing one long side. Drag out the main assembly onto the floor. Use your tractor to drag it out. It's too heavy to move manually. Lay out the parts so you can see everything in one place. Take the bag of parts and sort them out into like groupings. It makes finding the hardware easier. Grease the PTO driveline universal joints before assembly. Also grease the plastic fittings on the free rotating plastic guards. It's much easier to do this before assembly. Locate the 2 hitch pins and the 2 roll pins for the 3-point hitch. The longer pin goes into the round arm, with the big end facing out. The short pin goes into the square arm, big end facing out. Put some oil on the roll pin and some in the hole, and drive the roll pins through. Some tape will hold the pins to make it easier. Put the completed 3-point hitch onto the tractor using the Category 1 pins on the inside or the Category 2 pins on the outside as appropriate to your tractor. Attach the top link and then adjust the settings to make the vertical hole with the plastic bushings straight up and down. Place the short length of the pin into the hole with the bushings on the more section. Locate the collar with the through hole and the roll pin. Place the collar over the pin, oil the roll pin in the hole, align and drive the pin through. Locate the jack stand and attach it to the swivel with the clip pin. Swing the top bar over and place it on the jack stand. Using a lift or a jack, let the bar down as far as you can. Move the tractor so the hole with the bushings is centered directly over the pin. Then lift the pin and lower the 3-point hitch a little at a time until it is fully in the 3-point hitch assembly. Use the top link and the draw arm adjustments to get the hole aligned at the same angle to the pin. Put the pin through the jack to secure the height. Locate the red cap with the hole and the threaded pin shown here. Put the cap over the top of the pin and secure with the threaded pin. Insert the threaded end pointing towards the tractor. Locate the arm shown with the slot on one end. There is a bar welded on the transport lock. Verify it is pointed forward. Place the transport lock arm on the pin and secure it with a washer and a cotter key. Using locking pliers, bend the cotter key to secure it in place. Bend the legs back to reduce the chance of getting snagged on them. Attach the PTO guard. You'll need 10mm wrenches or sockets. Locate the 4 socket head cap screws and the 4 wavy washers and the 4 toothed washers. You'll need a 10mm socket head to tighten them. Using a chair to support the bar makes it easier if you're working alone. Locate the 3 nuts, all thread, and the eye nut along with the big spring. The spring goes into the hole just below the transport lock. If the 3-point hitch is up, it will have to be lowered to attach the top end of the spring. Release the transport lock and lower the 3-point hitch. Now the threaded rod will reach through the hole. Secure it with hardware. Locate the hand winch and the mounting bracket for the winch. Assemble as shown. Then locate on the pin and secure it with a washer and a cotter pin. Find the pin in the hardware shown and mount it with the pin facing the tractor. Locate the telescoping tube shown and its locking pin. Install with the larger outer tube facing up to the winch and secure it with a spring pin. Put the other end over the pin you just installed. Release the winch and let out enough cable to attach the hook over the pin shown. Secure it with a washer and a spring pin. If you have the hydraulic lift option on your disc mower, install a cylinder assembly as shown. Put the cylinder in on the pin at the top of the 3-point hitch so the hydraulic port faces up. Check that the hydraulic fittings are tight before connecting to your tractor. The long bar with the spring is installed the same way as with the mechanical lift. The threaded rod with the stop welded on the left side, shown here, is a mechanical stop to protect the cylinder from over-travel. Adjust the nuts on the threaded end to stop the travel of the cylinder 1/4 of an inch before it reaches the end of its extension stroke. The cross-drilled hole is to insert a spring pin to provide a safety lock in the lifted position for transport. Raise the Mower up and install the transport lock pin in the bar when the holes align. For safety, use a jack stand. Find the skid plate and the hardware shown. You will need a 17 mm wrench and a 6 mm socket head. Install the socket head cap screws as shown. Locate the hardware shown, noting that there are 2 screws that are a bit longer than the other 2. Mount the bar with the 2 holes having a shorter distance between them pointing forward as shown. Then place the swather on top and install the hardware. Use the longer cap screws in the middle. Use the tractor to raise the Mower off the safety stand and remove it. Then lower the cutter bar by removing the lock pin and lowering the winch. Get the swather for the far end. Now put the last one of the 3 longer cap screws through the forward hole. Secure it with the nut. Put the swather so the slot aligns with the hardware. Now get the socket head screw, the 2 washers, the spring, and the nut shown. Install as shown. Tighten the swather so it will fall down under its own weight. Attach the swath bar with the single hole down. Secure it with the round heads facing in. Check that the swather can move and adjust as necessary. The front guard has hinges. Secure it with the 2 long bolts. You will need 2 13 mm wrenches. Check that the guard moves freely. Install the rear guard with the hardware shown. Install the curtain using the provided straps and nylon ties. Verify that there is oil in the 2 gearboxes and lubricate all grease points. Some of the grease points will take more grease than usual the first time they are lubricated due to filling up the airspace between the bushings. Read the manual that is supplied with your PTO before operating the machinery. Failure to follow all safety precautions in the manufacturer's literature could lead to equipment damage or injury. PTO shafts are supplied long because the length of the draw arms on tractors vary. It is typical to have to remove excess length from the PTO before using the implement with your tractor. If you have more than one tractor, it is important to cut the shaft for the tractor you will be using the implement with. Mark the PTO with permanent marker as to which tractor it is to be used with to avoid confusion. Using a PTO shaft that is too short can cause the PTO to separate during use. That could lead to damage or injury. If you need to cut the PTO shaft, see the instructions that came with the shaft. You are done with assembly. Go back and check that you tightened everything and have installed all pins and chains. And you've checked the oil levels and lubricated all grease points. Tractor Tools Direct sells a complete line of haymaking equipment for your compact tractor. Abriata round and square balers, Molon power rakes, and Galfre drum and disc mowers. For a complete line of equipment, visit our website at tractortoolsdirect.com.